Good morning, YouTube. All right, we are actually heading off into Orlando, thanks to Maggie Brown. Good morning, DJ. How's it going? I got a tip the other day from one of our viewers. Maggie Brown sent me a link that hopefully will prove to be fruitful. Somebody was wholesaling, or trying to get rid of a wholesaler's inventory of used solar panels. Apparently this company, which I will be linking here to help her out, Jessie, I think she goes by Jess, is an auction site, a wholesaler auction site, and they seem to have a huge stockpile right now of solar panels in different states, actually. The one I'm going to is the one in Orlando, and they were advertising it on Facebook, actually, and Maggie found the link and sent it to me, so I decided to contact Jessica, the person who put up the ad. So evidently this company has a bunch of used solar panels, Canadian solar, 250 watts, supposedly more than 200 of them in stock. So if you're looking for solar panels, depending on how this transaction goes, you might be able to still pick them up. I am going to head over there, try to pick up 5 panels. They're rated at 250, but I suspect they'll be lower because they're used. But for $235 for roughly 1,250 watts of power, although even if it was half that, let's say it was 500 or 600 watts, less than $250 is still, I think, a very good deal. I do have to buy all the cabling and charge controllers, and I'm having to learn all this stuff on the fly. So if you know solar and want to help me out, feel free to post. From what I gather, this is what I need. The panels themselves, as far as I can tell, are 24 watt panels, okay? Because they have 60 cells. And I was doing some research, to figure out what was the ratings and stuff on the panels. And I think they're 24 volt panels. Yeah, 24 volt panels, because they have 60 cells. That means that they really designed for like a 24 volt system. Now, it would be easy to rewire the vehicle or the RV for 24 volt house battery power system, which a lot of people recommend. But I don't want to do that. I'm actually going to keep everything at 12 volts because I still plan on using the alternator to charge the batteries while driving, because I think it'll charge faster, even though, I don't know, with more than 1,000 watts, potentially, maybe it'll charge faster through the solar panels. But regardless, I want to keep everything at 12 volts because it's what I know. And also I don't want to have to deal with additional changes and stuff in how the system works. How the RV battery system works. So what I will do, and this is my plan, is to take the solar panels, and I'm planning on using 4 of them on the RV. That'll give me 1,000 watts minus, the loss. So I'm guessing anywhere from 600 to 1,000 watts of power. Calculating for the loss in efficiency due to the panels being used. I don't know. We'll find out. But that'll give me 24 volts system, which means I have to do something to it before it goes to the 12 volt batteries. And as far as I can tell from my research, I think I need a PPT, I think it's called a PPT charge controller. It's the one that will actually convert from different voltages and output to different voltages, instead of the simple one. I think it's PMT. But I need to get with the one that converts down from 12 volt system down to 12 volts for my battery. So I'll be looking into that and researching and trying to figure all this out. as well as mounting hardware. Still trying to figure out how to mount it onto the roof of the RV, because we still have to deal with the leaks. So it may be a while before I put these up, but I wanted to grab them before they go away. I will be putting the link for Jess's auction. So if you want to try to buy these, you may be able to get them, for pennies on the, not for pennies, but for dollars. Much, much cheaper than you can get them brand new. And if you happen to live in the area, you might be able to do like me and arrange to go pick it up. That's what I did. So instead of going through the auction, basically, Jess runs this auction site, which, like I said, I will link on this video after it broadcasts and I get a chance, after the broadcast is finished, and I get a chance to update the description and maybe post a comment down here to show the link. So if you want to get in touch with Jess, the girl selling all this, you can do so. But yeah, if it works out, I'm planning on putting about 1,000 watts onto the RV. And even though Little Blue doesn't need it, I think I'm going to try to put a 250 watt solar panel on Little Blue. That'll hide the stealth, but it'll give me 250 watts that I really don't need. But 250 watts to keep my batteries topped off, so that hopefully the batteries don't keep dying. I've got a battery bank now about 200 amp hours on Little Blue, and I've done some more modifications as far as Little Blue itself and the RV. I'm kind of doing them in joint. I've been messing around a lot with the retro arcade systems, retro computers and stuff like that. So I actually found a unit, the AT Flashback, that is currently on sale at Walmart. Yeah, for $25. Do you believe that? $25, and you get a complete gaming system with more than 100 games on it, and you can expand it. So I've been messing with it, trying to figure out how to expand it with different games. Contemplating hacking it to put Linux back. It's got Linux on it as what's running the emulator, as far as I understand. We're trying to hack it so it becomes a computer. Potentially, I don't know. I don't want to void my machine though from playing games, because it's really a nice game machine. You just turn it on, and it can emulate like MAME. Although I'm having a hard time figuring out how to get MAME to work on there for my own games. From MAME. But it'll off the hand run for sure. Super Nintendo. I just installed like about 600 games. So yeah, small little tiny unit for $25, and you can have literally thousands of games on there. And the reason for me doing that is so that when I get my kids, they have something to play with, and also for me if I'm just sitting around bored, which doesn't happen very often, but if I do, I can sit there and play video games. And these are games that I kind of, for the Nintendo and stuff, I actually didn't play any of these. Well, I played a couple of them, but I didn't play very many of them because I was kind of a grown-up by then, and I didn't really play too many of these games because I was busy, working and other stuff. But basically, now I get a chance to check out all these games, and my kid will be able to play these too. So it's really cool, and I had a lot of these I was playing with on the computer, running emulators and stuff, but it's just easier to go with a dedicated unit. But anyhow, if any of you know anything about solar panels, solar wiring, connectors, and stuff like that, I may need your help soon, because I'm getting ready to hook all that up. My first priority will be to pick it up and make sure that they're good. I don't think I can really do that. I don't think they're going to hook them up for me. I don't have anything to test them with. So it's just taking their word that it's good. But I suspect that, if they have hundreds of them, they're all good. It's a wholesaler. I guess they removed it off a building or something. So I will grab all of these that I can. I'm taking 5 of them. If my budget was a little bigger, I would have taken 2 or 3,000 watts. Because then eventually, if I ever get my house, my off-grid house, a 2,000 watt system is enough to run that house. But because, the only space I really have is the RV, and, I don't want to just pile things up. I actually want to install it and have it working. I decided 1,250 watts would be a good start, and if I want to get more later, I'll have to look for more and stay in touch with Jess to see if she has any more, but then they might have to be shipped, and then there'll be additional costs and whatnot. So I figure 1,000 watts should be hopefully enough to hook onto the RV, because the main purpose for me to put it onto the RV is to be able to run the refrigerator non-stop. So if I got the power and it was 1,000 watts should be enough to set the 120 volt system up permanently on the RV. It won't run the air conditioner because my air conditioner is only 2,000 watts. The inverter is only 2,000 watts, which we had determined wasn't enough to get the AC working. I think it would need a capacitor or even I think just a larger inverter would do it. I think maybe a 3,000 watt inverter would do it, because my 2,800 watt generator is able to run the air conditioner. But I only have 400 amp hours. But see, if you had large enough solar panels and they were pulling electricity during the daytime, which is when you would want to run the air conditioner, I think 1,000 watts would be enough to run it. Maybe. But of course, we're not getting a full 1,000. I don't know how much we're going to actually pull, because these are used panels. But I'm just, on a conservative guess, I'm estimating that I should get at least 500 watts usable, if not 700, 800 watts. If I'm lucky, I might get 750 watts, which is more than adequate to run a refrigerator. So I would be able to run the refrigerator directly off the solar panels during the daytime when it's sunny, and then when it's not sunny at night, it could run off the battery bank. And then during the day, it'll charge it all back up because it's generating so much power. This was way larger than what I thought I would be able to afford for the RV. I thought I was going to go down to like a 100 or 200 watt system, maybe 400 watts max, because that's how I figure I could afford. But getting these panels for less than $50 a panel for 250 watts, that's like huge. So look forward to those videos, assuming everything goes smoothly. So I'm not really going to list a link until I know for sure that this is legit, because I'm driving all the way to Orlando here to a warehouse to go see if they're even there. I had contacted the girl. She said to go there. They should be there today, as long as I get there before a certain time. So hopefully everything will be legitimate. Sorry for the shaky camera here. I think that it's having issues here on the windshield here. But I'm going through a little town called Buffalo. You get to watch Orlando traffic if you don't mind the jerky camera work here. I don't see anybody chatting. I guess everybody's quiet. Hey, Penny, I see you on here. Good morning, Penny. I don't know what the weather's like for the rest of you, but Florida's getting cold again. I think it got down to the 40s last night around here. Made for a really comfortable sleeping in the van, though. I was under the blankets. I had the video game system up last night with the TV running for a couple of hours, playing games, just checking them all out. Had over 600 games I went through, just to see what was there. A weird looking truck. He's got the back side of his truck was built out of wood. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and sign out for now, and I'm gonna resume filming once I get the panels and let you guys know what happens. They're gonna be kind of big, so my question is, will they fit inside the van? I don't know if I'm going to be able to squeeze them all inside the van. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get them onto the roof and try to secure them somehow. So we'll see what happens. Little Blue is actually running okay right now, but this morning I was starting to have issues. I was starting to freak out a little bit. I don't know if it was because of the cold or whatever, but this morning when I started Little Blue, she started shaking, and of course the check engine light popped back up, and it was starting to behave like it was misfiring like crazy again. Remember the whole issue with the misfiring, and then the chain of the rabbit hole we went down, the chain of events, trying to fix that. It was doing that, and I guess it had done it in Orlando on a cold morning like this, was when it first started. So I saw it misfiring. I shut the engine off, went and got breakfast, came back out, started it up, and it was still misfiring a little bit, but since warming up, driving, it's no longer shaking like it was and doing all that. When it was misfiring, of course, it was running really rough, and you could feel the whole van shaking. Oh, crap, this might be the end again for Blue. But as I got on the highway, it seems to have settled. It's no longer, I guess it may still be misfiring, but it's not like it's always been misfiring because my check engine light's always on and I can feel it misfiring from time to time. But it was just particularly bad this morning, probably because of the cold. And it was behaving just like it did. Remember when Little Blue kept misfiring so badly and had no power, and at a certain point ended up, I was ready to destroy it. And then Charles stepped in, and all these other people stepped in to try to keep Blue alive. So where we're at right now, the van seems to be running fine. I don't know if you can hear it. She's got, let me look how many miles she's got on her now. She's got 375,502 miles right now. So since you guys have been watching me in Little Blue, when we were in Little Blue, we were at 290,000 miles. So we put on about 80,000 miles since then, I think. We put on more than 80,000 miles since I've had Blue. 80,000. It's not bad for a van that I bought for like $700-800. It's a $700-800 van. Of course, all those repairs and stuff, but when you consider the cost of getting like a newer vehicle, it still worked out cheaper, And because you don't have it financed through the bank, you can just get minimal coverage on it. That saves a lot of money. Yeah, I'm really happy with Little Blue being able to maintain, basically running, all this time. And it's not like I'm the best car mechanic or take care of person in the world. You see how I kind of abuse Blue. I'm not like that mechanically inclined, to say the least. If you've watched any of my mechanical repair videos, and you know what I'm talking about, I'm not very mechanically inclined, but Blue's still running. And it's not like I even change the oil all the time. I do try to change the oil every 3 to 6 months if I can, but sometimes she goes for a year without getting an oil change. And the reason, I don't change the oil that often is she has leaks. So I usually have to keep refilling oil. I keep having to put new oil in, probably the equivalent of like 1 quart every month or two. But, she's got more than 300,000 miles, 370,000 miles on her. So for a vehicle that's got that many miles, to leak oil, I think that's normal. But for her to keep running, she's one of those amazing cars. But I don't know if you guys are aware, Little Blue 1, a lot of you don't know about Little Blue 1, but Little Blue 1 was like Little Blue 2, but lighter color. It was a Chrysler Town and Country. I think it was a 2004 Chrysler Town and Country. And she was rigged almost like this Little Blue 2. She had 460,000 miles on her. 460,000 miles on her. And I was trying to hit 1 million. But then, the wreck, I got rear-ended by this old man. He was like 83, 84 years old. And I was at a stoplight, and he thought he was stepping on the brakes, but he was stepping on the gas, accelerating. And accelerated right into me. while I was stopped, and I was like, I could see him getting ready to hit me, and I had put the brakes down. I was still pushing down the brakes, and he was shoving me with my brakes on through the intersection into another car. And then, at least he was honest when the cops asked him what happened. He said he stepped on the brakes, but instead of stopping, the car sped up. Hello? That's not the brakes. So, long story short, that's what kind of set off this sequence of events with me living in the van here and the whole sequence. Because you guys, I don't know, you guys might have been with me from before I was moved back into Little Blue 2. I was in Little Blue 1 rigging it for travel. And ended up in this whole sequence. That was about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So that's where we started from. We are hitting Orlando. We're on the outer skirts of Orlando, and it is so hard to recognize this place now. They have put up so many new buildings. There's like little mini towns that have popped up. Orlando is kind of spreading out. Orlando, unlike most cities, a lot of cities have like huge buildings, skyscrapers and stuff like that. Orlando is kind of flat and has all these little suburb areas. I guess you can call them that. They're more like town cities. Orlando itself, if you've ever been to downtown Orlando, it's tiny. Although they've started to put up some new buildings, but I think there's less than 10 or 20 tall buildings in Orlando as far as downtown Orlando. Maybe we'll take a trip down there one day just to see how much it's changed. But yeah, Orlando's not like most cities where you see all these giant skyscrapers. Orlando's only got a couple tall buildings. Most of it is spread out like this. We're on the outer skirts, CF. Used to live around here, and because I attended UCF, and this place was empty. There was a couple businesses, a little shopping plaza with the Publix there. But now, here's the Publix, actually. But I think it's the same one. It's in this plaza right there. There's a Publix right there. I think it's the same plaza. But it's hard to recognize it now because there are just nonstop buildings everywhere. And housing and condos and apartments. I don't know where all these people are coming from. But they're all coming here to Orlando, coming here to Florida. Florida is growing. And I don't know where these people are coming from or even where they work. It's like, most of Orlando around this area is tourism and stuff. But these people aren't all working tourism. And if you go to like Lake Nona, where I go to the VA, if you've seen me drive through there, those are high-end, very expensive houses for this area. I guess they're cheaper than elsewhere. But for Florida, a house that's $200,000 is kind of expensive. A $200,000 home in Florida, around Central Florida, is somewhat on the higher end. And they're buying them up and jacking prices back up. So we were talking about, I was talking with Tim about the housing bubble. I think it's another bubble. Because prior to that, the houses around here were like 100. You could get a house here for like 80,000, 90,000. Then it went up to about 120,000. Then the housing boom kicked in, and they were going up over 240,000, which is what they're back up to again. So the same house that used to sell for 80,000 is now going for about 180,000, which to me is ridiculous because it's not even a nice house. But somebody's buying them up at that price. The problem I see is the local people here, the salaries, you can't afford that kind of house with the salaries they pay here. Most of these workers here, I'm just going to take a rough guess because I haven't worked here, but when I was working here and stuff, they weren't paying much more than minimum wage. So even though this is like a college town, so they're full of young people that work, okay? So you'll see like the food places and all these buildings and stuff here, like Chili's, Popeyes, Burger King. They don't pay, as far as I know, much more than minimum wage. So at the most, these people are making like between $9 to $10. Minimum wage in Florida, I think, is $8.25. But some of them start you at $8.25 or $8.50. But I think most of them around here will probably pay about $9 or $10 an hour. So if you're a college student, I guess it helps offset, hopefully you got a house somewhere. But a lot of them, they used to live in what's called the ghettos, the college ghettos. And if you ever went to college, there's always the college ghettos. Everyone always assumes that if somebody goes to college, that they have money. But actually, most people who go to college don't have money. They're actually trying to better their lives, hoping that the education will get them into a better job. But I'm starting to see now. I don't know if it was Mike Rowe or whatever from Dirty Jobs. He pointed out the truth. The truth is this, or the fact is, in current markets, the college degree will not get you a better job. It may, but for most people, it's actually a waste of money. Because especially if you have to borrow. See, if you're rich, if you have rich parents and stuff, and you have money to go to college, and you didn't have to borrow money, it may be beneficial to you because you don't go into debt. But for the average person who has to borrow money, because it's kind of a lie. They tell you you'll be able to get a good job and you'll be able to pay it back, but it's very rare that you get out of college and you get a good job right away and you can pay that back. So you automatically start off in the hole. So borrowing money is not the way to pay for your education. I think a better bet if you're a younger person is to put your money towards trade school. And that's what Mike Rowe suggests. The guy from Dirty Jobs. You should put your money to trade school and learn a trade skill, because if you can go to school for 6 months, 3 to 6 months or even a year at the most, and come out, you could start a job. You might start lower than the guy who just got out of college, but remember, he's usually $50,000 to $100,000 in debt. That's how much money it costs now to try to go, borrow money to go to college. So he starts off, let's say he borrowed $40,000, he'll have to pay back more than $100,000 to pay off that loan. Okay, so he's already in the hole by about $100,000. And you start off, and you're not in debt, and you start off a job at about $20 to $25 an hour because you have a trade skill, okay, like plumbing, I think welding. I think they have a shortage of like welders and stuff. Basically, people who build things, the people who built this country, we're running out of them. So if you get into a trade skill, you can start off and be earning money, and within, like, let's say 5 or 10 years, you now might be a supervisor or something, and you're making way more. You could make $30 or $40 an hour in a trade skill. Whereas in college, you start out, the theory is that you would start out, at least $20 an hour. But what I found to be true is a lot of college people, they can't even get a $20 an hour job. I know even working as a temp, there were a lot of college people, they were working as a temp, and they were like me, working for just slightly more than minimum wage. So having a college degree doesn't guarantee you a better job. Okay, getting the right skill set was what will guarantee you a better job. You got to get into a skill set of things that people need. And right now, it's getting harder and harder to find the skill sets of needs here in America, because a lot of jobs have been, the higher end jobs have been shipped out overseas. So it's hard. It's hard being an American, I think. It's hard being an American now, okay, especially for the young people that are having to get into the new job market. I think it's just harder. Everything costs more, except for these solar panels. But anyhow, hopefully this plays out. Hopefully it's not a long drive for nothing. We're gonna go over there to the warehouse. We're gonna look at it. I'm gonna pay the cash, pick up my panels, try to load it up, and head back and try to figure out how to install everything. I think the first install might actually be on Little Blue instead of the RV. Because the RV, I still need to figure out the roofing situation to fix. Try to get the leaks fixed before I try to install panels on top of that. Because we're still leaking a little bit. But if I can install it in Little Blue and get it working in Little Blue, that'll be a first step. Then I can try to apply it to the Big Blue. Good enough. But good enough is going to have a kind of a large power system with, I'm planning on putting 1,000 watts on it, but I won't get the full 1,000 watts because these are used panels. I don't think I'll get 1,000 watts. unless I get really lucky. But trying to figure out how to wire it, I'm thinking of wiring it, and I think it's like parallel, which will take more wires. But I'm trying to, and I also have to put it into as an MPPT controller. So that'll help to give me maximize the power and also convert the 24 volts that's the output of the solar panels down to 12 volts for my battery bank. Because I want to keep everything 12 volts on the RV and the van. Even though ideally they say, like I was watching Will Pros or whatever, the self-declared expert. And he really is good. He's very knowledgeable, and he's gone through a lot of systems. So, if I expect anyone to know about RV power systems and stuff, it'd be Will. So I was looking at his videos and stuff, and he was highly recommending, 24 volts for an RV. He likes 24 volts for RVs. But, the issue is when you get 24 volts, you can't just patch right into it a 12-volt system. You have to have, like, converters and all sorts of other stuff to downgrade the voltage to 12 volts. And it adds a little bit of complications as far as, like, if you're trying to charge the system off the alternator, which he says, well, you wouldn't need to. You would run it off the panels. You charge it constantly off the panels. But I can conceive when it's cloudy and you don't have... There's a cop coming. So something's going on. I wonder if there's a crash. There's a cop going by. Yes. Craziness here. This is Orlando. Oh man, you guys want to hear something kind of sad a little bit? I don't know if it's sad or just... I was actually in Miami the other day. I had an errand run in Miami. And the GPS took me into the hood, and the bad side of town. It always does that. Is it just me, or does it seem like GPS, whenever you're in a city, tries to steer you into the hood? I'm like, what the? Anyhow, it took me in there, and I couldn't get out. So I was following the GPS, and, it's Miami, and it's Florida, so they had all these construction. So all the ramps to try to get back onto I-95 were blocked off. So I had to loop around and do weird stuff to all these hood neighborhoods. And then I come across this flashing lights, the police lights, on the side of the road. And there was a car off the side of the road with the doors open. And I wish I hadn't looked. But I looked, because I was trying not to hit the police car. And I thought I saw bodies everywhere and blood everywhere. It was horrendous. It was Miami, and I was like, wow. I don't even know what happened, but it just happened. Probably within 10 minutes of me being there. But they had the door open, and there was a body slumped over, and the whole car was covered with blood inside. And there was another body outside. I don't know if it was a cop. I don't know what happened. I know I was like, I got to get the heck out of here. And then ambulance was coming and all sorts of other crazy stuff. But I still having nightmares about it. It's just so, it was bad, very bad. But Orlando's starting to become like that. I hope that's not what's going on over here. The cops are up ahead here and everyone's slowing down again. But that's what happens when you, like, in a city. And GPS, Miami is, like, really messed up because I don't know if any of you ever drive down there. I think I might have to pay over $100 in fines because what they did when you hit South Miami from West Palm Beach on down south, I'm going to warn you, if you drive down there and you're trying to stay on I-95, they make it really hard to stay on I-95 without hitting their tolls and their fees. I think it's illegal. It should be illegal. But that's what they did. You have a lane on the left side called the expressway, or not the expressway, the HOV lane, the high occupancy vehicle lane. And I had, like, my wife with me. So we were in the HOV, which was fine. And how they designated the HOV lane, they have a double line running, instead, see how you have the little lines here that separate the lanes? Well, the HOV lane has a double line, and it's the left one. So you have to have 2 or more people in your vehicle during rush hour traffic, or the police will actually ticket you. So I was in the HOV lane, okay? Then suddenly, the HOV lane becomes 2 lanes. So instead of one HOV lane, there's 2 lanes, and then there's a million signs that pop up that say something about Florida Department, FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation Expressway, $25 fine and more if you don't have the sun pass or something. And you're like, what the? And then you're driving along, you don't really notice anything except that the 2 HOV lanes are kind of empty, except for some people are still driving. Well, not totally empty, but there are quite a few people driving on it because everyone was in the HOV lane, and now they split into 2 HOV lanes. I don't think those are HOV lanes anymore, and I think they do this as a money grab, because that night when I was returning after I saw the dead bodies of that car there, okay, and I was still freaking out, suddenly camera light flashes start going off as I'm driving up north on I-95. I'm like, what the? Did they just take pictures of me? If they took pictures of me, they're taking pictures of my tag to bill me. I'm like, that means that all those times I've been driving on that the double lane thingy down there in South Florida, they could be billing me $25 plus. So they could end up billing me over $100 for driving on the express lane side, because I think that's what that meant. I didn't realize it till that night when I saw the flashes. Then I went to another one and I noticed they set up camera checkpoints on that road, a whole bunch of them, to tag you. $25 per instance. And I know the lights went off at least 2 times coming up, so I'm like, they might have went off 2 times going down. That would be $100. And if there were some other times that I didn't notice, that's $25 each time. So a warning for South Florida: if you're traveling down there all the way to Miami, even if you have more than one person in your vehicle and it's not rush hour traffic, that those 2 left lanes, even though they're not clearly marked other than that little line, which used to be a HOV line, they're now some kind of express money grab thingy. And it's $25 per picture that they take. So be warned. I won't know yet because they do it in the mail. This is what they do. This is what they do in Florida, at least. I don't know if they do it in other states. They take a picture of you, then they mail you, okay? And if you're a van dweller, this can be really bad. They mail you the bill. Either they pay by tag because you don't have the sun pass or whatever it is, their automated payment, or they say you violated their toll or whatever, and then they will bill you all these bills. And they don't send it all at once, they bill it separately. Because each time that they send it, if you don't respond, after a certain number of days, they suspend your license. They suspend your tag, your permit. Well, they suspend your driver's license and your vehicle. So then what happens is a police could pull you over, and then you got all these other additional fees, including the cop fees. And now you may face possible jail time. It's a way of getting more money. And if you're a van dweller and you don't get that notice, there could be a hold on your record. And then as soon as you get pulled over anywhere, whether it be Florida or elsewhere, all the record systems are linked. It shows you're wanted. It shows that the police have you driving on a suspended license. You're driving illegally. So, but yeah, somebody here is telling me that the people coming from Puerto Rico, coming from New York and New Jersey. I don't know where these people are coming from. They have money and they're jacking the prices up. I know a lot of people, I see a lot of California tags in Florida. That was normal, but even more so now because of all the displaced displaced Californians are moving to Florida. They're used to their houses are like $1 million in California. A $1 million home in California, if you've ever seen them, they look. You know what's making that noise is this blue car next to me. You see the little rice cooker car there with the wobbly tire? It's not even straight. The tire's going to fly off. It looks like he was in a wreck. It sounds like he's doing 200 miles an hour. I guess the sound effects are for the just sound effects to make you feel like you're doing 200 miles an hour, even though you're not really going faster than 30, 35 miles an hour. So, he sounds fast. Yeah, but this is any of you that have been locals here, just to give tours for anybody that like me wants to see what these old landmarks are. This used to be Orlando Fashion Square Mall. I used to hang out here when I went to college here. It was a dead end. I don't know if it's anymore. It's still got some signs listed. It used to be one of Orlando's biggest malls, and then it became like a ghost town, kind of empty. All right, we got the little speed racer there in front of us. I do say I think he's louder than the car is on the engine is on Good Enough. Doesn't he sound like he's going fast? I don't know if you guys can hear him. He sounds like he's hauling butt. I think he's doing a whopping 30 miles an hour. I do want to get away from him though. You hear him? Man, he just pulled right out in front of me. He just pulled off. I think he hit 35 miles an hour. It's amazing. I want to get in the other lane here and try to get out of here. Shit. Everybody's trying to get away from that noise. When you hear him going fast and you want to go fast, but he's really not going fast. He's just going loud. Yeah, Neon says if I have a roof rack on Little Blue, good to go. So we'll mount it on Little Blue. My biggest concern is how to wire and how to hook the panels up on the RV. As far as I can tell, they're large. Hopefully not too large. Hopefully they'll fit inside Little Blue. I'm hoping to stack them up, in the bed area here. Well, you guys don't see here, but the bedding area of Little Blue, I'm hoping to stack them all up back there. The 5 panels. Otherwise, I have to stack them on the roof and try to tie them down somehow and make it back. But if I can get them in Little Blue and drive them on the inside, that would be the most ideal. Then I'll load them into the RV, probably in the overhead bed, the bed bunker area to store them. And I'll take one that I'm going to try to mount on Little Blue and get a charge controller to down convert from 24 volts to 12 volts to make sure this is going to work. And figure out how the wiring and the connectors all go together. Then Little Blue will be off-grid capable. 250, well, it says it's rated at 250. I'm going to be lucky. I'm going to hope that I get at least 200 watts. But 200 watts for a little minivan is more than adequate. With a 200 amp hour battery pack, I can pretty much... Well, I can do everything I need to right now, even without solar panels. That's the thing. On these van dweller groups and stuff, or in the vans, everyone's always talking about solar panels and stuff. But if you're urban, like you drive around in your vehicle all the time, you don't need solar panels. You just need your alternator. Hook up your alternator to your battery, like I do, and your batteries are always topped off every day. You don't need to do any elaborate charging. You're charging through the alternator, just like you do your vehicle battery. It's low maintenance. It's no additional cost, really. It's less than $20, less than $10 in wiring and stuff. So it's a cheap way of doing it, and you maintain your stealth. Me putting solar panels on Blue, it's not going to look stealth anymore. So I'm still debating. I may put it on there just to test it out, but it hides the fact. When I put solar panels on this van, people can tell I'm living in it. Right now, the van on the outside still looks pretty normal. It looks junky, People kind of leave it alone. But as you put solar panels on it, it could invite thieves and stuff to try to break in because they'll think there's something valuable in here. Little do they know that, it doesn't really have anything in here, of value, really, other than me. But as far as the items in here, hopefully the fact that the van looks so beat up and old could kind of give them an indication that there's no money in here. you know. But they may equate, people may equate if you have solar panels, you know, like big solar panels and stuff, that you have money, especially like on the RV. Even though the RV is kind of old and beat up, just like the van, you know, and the solar panels are used. But assuming I get everything working, the RV ended up getting a really nice configuration. Right now, it's got a generator, a $90 generator that is like awesome. You know, I don't know. I was going to buy the Harbor. They jacked the price up since the whole thing with China. You know, the trade deals and all that, the embargo and all that. But basically, the prices for items coming out of China went up. So Harbor Freight, which gets a lot of its stuff from China, on their solar panels, not their solar panels, their generators, the prices all went up like 20% or so, 25%. Same with air conditioners and everything else. So the price went up on their generator, you know, the one that I think it puts out, I think it's an 800 watt or smaller. I think it's an 800 watt generator. I'm not sure. I think it was 800 watts, but that wouldn't be enough to run the air conditioner, I don't think. And it is supposedly really, really loud. But for less than the price of that thing, which I think right now it's selling for about $125 at Harbor Freight, I bought the used one.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto North Magnolia Avenue.
Oh, time for me to turn. Okay, he sees I'm trying to turn and he wants to... These idiots are not letting me over. Did you see this? That purple car right there? He saw I wanted to turn. He cuts over into the slow lane and loops around me, blocking me. But, you know, we're in Orlando. There goes the rice cooker car. I don't know if you can hear him behind me there.
Straight to stay on North Magnolia Avenue.
This side of town right here in Orlando, those of you who aren't familiar with this area, this is kind of the artsy, craftsy side of town. They have a really nice museum here, the Children's Museum, which is near here, down the street or just nearby here. I get confused. But yeah, this looks really pretty here, this side right now. Okay, so I'm supposed to go here, then I'm supposed to go straight, even though the GPS shows it turning. I don't understand. It says to stay. I guess the road just curves, but it stays the same. It's the same name. So we're on Magnolia right now. If you're watching, you'll know where this warehouse is, where they're keeping it. But you'll need to, you know, contact the...
Continue straight to stay on North Magnolia Avenue, then use the right lane to take the I-4 East ramp.
You need to contact the salesperson. So if you just show up at the warehouse, I don't think they're going to give it to you.
Use the right lane to take the I-4 East ramp.
Shit, what just flew off? I gotta get out. Something just flew off my car. Wow! Wow! Guess what just flew off my car? I just got these. It's been sitting there all this time. I had a flat the other day. I'm trying to think what I did with this. Yeah. That means, I wonder if I didn't put everything up. I had a flat, I had to repair a flat the other day. Wow. That thing went all the way to Miami with me. I had a flat tire. Not flat. Well, let me deal with this road. It's under construction, so I'll be quiet and focus on driving for a second here as I try to merge onto whatever this road is trying to take me to. This is really weird. It's a new construction. They're always building here. We're supposedly on I-4. All right, we'll be getting off at Maitland. So we got 4.5 more miles. Maybe I can talk again. But this is what Orlando roads look like. Pretty much all of Florida looks like this. Those of you that want to come to Florida. I don't know about northern Florida, but central and south Florida looks like this all the time. The roads are all ripped up and anything. But I don't know if you heard that noise. That was my vice grip that flew off the roof and slid. Now it explains the noise my wife and I heard when we were in Miami. Okay, here's a story behind the flying vice grips. I had a flat tire the other day. It wasn't flat, but it had a screw in it before I headed out to Miami. And I decided to repair it. So I took the vice grips. I couldn't find pliers. So I took the vice grips and I pulled off the screw. And then I took the repair kit. You know, remember I showed you the plug kit? And I plugged it up and filled it with air. And evidently I forgot the vice grips. I left them on the roof of the vehicle by the tire where I was working on it. That was Friday. That was Friday. Wait, that wasn't Friday. No, that was Thursday. Yeah, that was Thursday. So the vice grips have been sitting on my roof since Thursday, Friday, and today is Saturday. And they have traveled on that roof for about 700 or 800 miles. That's how far I've driven. I had to drive down to Miami and back. That was like 700 miles. 800 miles. Dang. Can you believe that? Those vice grips were sitting on my roof for 700 or 800 miles without flying off, and they just now flew off here in Orlando when I stopped. I'm shocked. When I was driving the car with my wife, heading out to Miami, I heard a noise. I heard this rumbling noise on the interstate. And I asked my wife, I said, "Hey, did you hear that noise? I think something." And she said, "No, that was the car next to us."
2 miles, take exit 90B west for Maitland Boulevard West.
Said that was the car next to us. I'm trying to figure out if I had anything else up there. I'm pretty sure the only thing I had up there was the vice grip. I think I put up I remember I put up the plug kit. I'm pretty sure I put it up. Don't tell me I left the air compressor up there too. Air compressor flew off the roof. No, I got the air compressor here under my seat. So air compressor's here, which means that the plug kit is in it. Remember those little plug kits that I showed a video on a while back? Get one of those if you haven't got one. Learn how to use it. Watch my video if you need to. They're not hard to use. But they come in handy if you happen to see a nail or a screw in your tire and you need to fix it. You can plug it up, and then you're supposed to get your tire officially patched by a tire repair place. Because they say those plugs are temporary fixes. They're not supposed to be permanent. The reason they're not permanent is water can possibly... I want 90B. Water can possibly... It says 90A and B. What the heck? It's 90B? I'm going to say 90A-B. I want 90... It says... 90B West 414. 414 West is what I want. Okay, 90B still coming up. Anyhow, if you just plug your tire,
In a quarter mile, take exit 90B west.
water can still get in there.
14 west.
And if water gets in there and you have like steel belted tires.
Keep left at the fork to continue on exit 90B. Follow signs for Maitland.
Okay, that's 90A,
West.
90B. I'm gonna go.
Keep left at the fork.
That was really bad.
Exit 90B.
90B west is on the left. That was a weird split right there.
Continue on Florida 414 west for 5 miles.
If you've not driven in Florida, this is the kind of conditions you can expect around Florida roads. They look like this. It's all like construction with zips, and then they have toll enforcement and fines and stuff because they tag you. They take a picture of your tag and try to suspend your license. This is what the exits look like. It's all weird. It was not weird before. This is a new style that they're doing. So this is not how you used to have on-ramps, off-ramps that were pretty self-explanatory, but now they all like this. All the new construction. It's like taking you up way high in the sky, too. In Miami, it's like that. I missed an exit, and I ended up on this road that took me up 150 feet in the air. I'm like, what the heck? That was the exit ramp. It took me up high in the air in Miami. If you've ever driven Miami, I-95, all those exits on those weird ramps, then you know what I'm talking about. They built these giant skyways. Literally, see, look, we're up right next to us are buildings, and we're like looking at the rooftop of the buildings. We're higher than the buildings. Okay, stay on 414 west. The split, but we're supposed to stay, I don't know. The GPS, it doesn't show the splits too well. I think we're on the right road. And now it says I'm on the exit only, and I don't want to exit. I don't know if you see this little fork split here. See? Somebody not paying attention at night can slam right into that split because it's right into the lane that you were driving on. But I sometimes, it's like I think they're trying to work on the roads while cars are driving, but then they make the roads dangerous because the roads no longer go straight. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You're in your lane, you're staying in your lane, and suddenly the median splitter is in the center of your lane. But it's like a continuous, Florida highways and interstates and stuff is a continuous construction zone. I've never seen the road done. I've been here since 1984, 85, and the roads have never gotten finished. They're always under construction. And it's like this all over Orlando. It's like this towards Tampa. It's like this in South Florida. Really bad in South Florida. Wanting to merge on here. I think I had a job around here at Sam's Club for the knife gig one day. I don't know if you guys remember when I was still doing the knife gig. They closed. I did that Sam's Club, and then within 2 or 3 weeks of that show, they closed the entire Sam's Club without telling the employees. The people showed up for work and they couldn't get in. There was just a sign that said closed. And all the employees was like, what the heck? Sam's Club closed a whole bunch of stores and they didn't even tell the employees. They just had people show up and the doors were locked. go ahead and stop, unlike that guy who just ran a red light. I don't see cameras on these over here, though. You know, a lot of the roads around here, Florida especially, you know, throughout Brevard and elsewhere, they have all these cameras here now to give you fines. It's like they don't even hire police out there to it's a money grab. If there was a cop here giving tickets, he could help out if there was an accident. You know, he could be there for safety. But when you have the camera there taking pictures of people, quote, violating, all they're doing is grabbing money. The police aren't even monitoring it. It's some company getting a huge cut of the money for installing the cameras, and then the police and the city and stuff get the cut of that fee as a service, convenience service. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't, you know, you would think that the police and the rules and the enforcement is there to protect people. It's not. It's changed. Originally, I can understand having police and stuff there dealing with traffic and stuff because it's a safety issue. Somebody violating is doing a safety violation. Okay, somebody could get killed or hurt. But when the police aren't even involved in it, other than to collect money, it's nothing to do with safety. Unless those black things on top of the, they may be cameras. See, I don't know if you can see the light assembly. There's a little black thingy on top of it. A little rectangular black box looking thing. Normally when there's a camera, it comes up on a pole. You can kind of see the little round pole with a camera on it. But these, maybe it's a new design to hide the camera. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is or they just don't have cameras here.
In a quarter mile, use the right lane to take the Orange Blossom Trail ramp to US 441.
I'm supposed to go off the 441 here. Last road before the toll. I told the GPS I didn't want to pay any tolls. The way they do the tolls here in Florida, a lot of the places, you can't even pay a toll.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto North Orange Blossom Trail, US 441 South.
They want you to pay for the sun pass. So you get this thing that goes on your visor, and it's an electronic beacon thing that they can track you. And as you go through, it supposedly automatically bills your account. If you don't have the sun pass and you're on that road, then they get you for violating. They say, well, you pay by plate. They take a picture of your plate, then they bill you. But if you don't get that bill, then they suspend your license, and then they start the whole court process. You got to pay the court fees. You got to pay the police. You're driving on a suspended license. You understand what I'm saying? It's become not so much about safety or even doing things in a fair way. It's using cameras. Here are cameras, I think, watching us. You see the little black thingies sticking up on the poles? So they're hiding them. They used to be a lot more prevalent. Like you could actually see it with a camera. Now they're hiding the cameras. They're embedding them in or making them really small. They're getting smaller.
Continue on North Orange Blossom Trail for half a mile.
If those of you who aren't familiar, this is called Orange Blossom Trail or OBT. It's kind of a famous road for bad stuff. In Orlando, OBT, Orange Blossom Trail, used to be like the worst spot, the worst street for Florida.
Quarter mile, your destination will be on the right.
And here we are, so we're at the warehouse. Hopefully someone's there. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out here in a minute. Because I got to go deal with them. I know I'm supposed to turn over here somewhere. I think it's this one. Or is it the next one? Is it this one? It's the next one. Shit, I missed it.
Your destination is on the right.
So that was it right there, I think. I thought it was this one here. It was the last one. So we're going to loop around. What I mean about GPS, it's not like you can see exactly You know, GPS has little lines, but then I just drove past it because I couldn't tell that's where I was supposed to turn. And this is kind of dangerous because there's a hill right there. So you don't see people coming over it. And hopefully they're not whizzing by at 100 miles an hour. All right, I think it's this one here on the left here. For those of you wanting to check out these things, normally Monday through Friday. The address is 7904 North Orange Blossom Trail. Now, I don't know where it is. 7904 might be this one that says recycling. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. 7904 North Orange Blossom Trail. I'm going to send you guys links and stuff later so you can check that out. If you're in Orlando or around this area, you want to check it out. But I'm going to see here if this is it. All right? Take care now. Bye-bye.